All right, so good morning, everyone. This is Google Classroom Level 2. I am going to just go over some stuff for Google Classroom for those of you who are new to it and you want to kind of see the ins and outs. So you can see here, this is my Google Classroom page, my main page. I like to call this the Monopoly page because it's got tiles, Monopoly tiles. You'll see I'm in a bunch of classes. I can add myself to classes through the program we have, an admin console, but I also don't like to be in this many, so I like to leave them as well. So, for example, this class right here, I was helping yesterday, and now I'm done, so I'm going to hit leave class. And then when I do that, it'll take my teaching rights away from that class. So if you're in a class and you don't want to be in that class, you can leave the class. The other thing you can do if you have your own Google Classroom, if you're done, the year is over, what I would suggest you do is go here and click archive. Now I'm not going to do that because I'm still using this classroom, but when you archive a class, it goes away for the students and it also goes away for you. You can still access them if you go here, scroll to the bottom, archived classes. You'll see in here I have a very lot of them. These are all old classes that I've taught or whatever. Here's the kicker with the archived classes. Once they're here, you can delete them from here, so then they're gone forever. But I wouldn't suggest that. They don't take up any space on your hard drive or anything like that. And when they're archived, you can still reuse a post from that class. And I'll show you what I mean in a little bit when I get into Google Classroom. Now, the other thing about this main page, let's see, I've been helping Mrs. Hurley with her class because she's out on maternity leave, so I'm helping her sub. But I don't need those right at the top. The ones I want at the top are the ones I use the most. For example, Google Classroom for Beginners. This is the one I use the most because it's my training class. You can click and drag and literally bring it to the top of the screen. I also want to use the high school classes. They're the building level classrooms because those I post to as well. So I'm going to click those and pull them up here. And I'm just missing the intermediate. There it is right there. So now I have the classes that I access the most right at the top. You also see here, when you assign things and give them due dates, it appears right on the front on the tile like that. Now that's really helpful for students because if you give something a due date, all they have to do is log into classroom.google.com and they can see what is due. Now some of these don't have things, but you'll see like in phys ed, they have fitness journal due. Mrs. Byrne has something due. Second grade, there's some stuff due. So just looking quickly, I don't have to actually go into those classrooms. I can see it from there. The other thing you can do, which is really great, and we use this with our own kids, is you can click on three bars and click on to do. Now, for teachers, I'm going to show you the teacher version of this first. Teachers, to do. These are things that I still need to review. In other words, these are things that haven't been graded. So if I click on to review, you'll see here I have the option to toggle in between my classes that I teach, right? So here's all the classes that I'm a teacher of. So if I just want to look at that one, you'll see each one has its own color. So like Mrs. Byrne has blue, the Google Classroom for Beginners is gray, so it's phys ed, but that's okay. Intermediate is green, but you can see that these are things that I have to go in and review and things that I've already reviewed, already graded. Click here on reviewed, and it'll show me things I've already done. Of course, we're moving a little slow this morning already, but that happens. See if I can get my hotspot going. All right, well, that's starting up. Let's go back over here to the to-do. So that's the teacher to-do. Now, let's say you're a student. Students still have the to-do. This is my to-do that I'm enrolled in, the class I'm enrolled in. Probably won't have too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like from the kids' point of view. See if I can get on my hotspot here really quick. Maybe not. Try again in a second. All right, so let me log in as Mira because her classes, her teachers are using Google Classroom, so you'll have a good idea of what that is. All right, so here's what it looks like from a student's point of view. You can see she's in my Google Classroom for Beginners, but she also, due today, has lesson 4 on Abraham Lincoln. Now, because she's in 2 classes, maybe she doesn't want to click on just that one to go into it, right? The older kids at the high school, well, at junior high, even intermediate, they have multiple classes that they're enrolled in. So she clicks here and goes to do. Now I can see a list of things that she's missing that she needs to do, which is a lot apparently. But a lot of these things don't have a due date, they're longer projects, or some of them she's done, she just hasn't turned them in. The other thing she can do is she can click on done, and you can see the things that she has done. So yesterday, she did some stuff for me in my Google Classroom. She did her April 14th stuff. So those are things that she has done. That gives you an idea of what it looks like from the student side. Okay, I'm going to try and switch over my internet here. Give me a second. There it is. Hopefully it won't kick me off. All right, let's go back to classes. Is everybody good so far? All right. The next thing I want to show, there's Betsy smiling, I love it. All right, the next thing I want to show you is the email settings. I have a lot of questions about email settings, and people say, you know, I get all these emails, and there's certain emails I don't need. So from this main page, classroom.google.com, you're going to click on these 3 bars, and you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see under Archived Classes Settings. These are the settings for all of your Google Classroom. So you can change your profile picture. And here, notifications, email. Do you want to receive email notifications? Now, in the past, some people just turn that off. They don't need it. They check, they only have one Google Classroom. That's the one they go in. They check it all the time. So that, if it was how we were teaching in person, maybe that would work. But in today's current situation, I would suggest having email on, but you can turn off things that you don't need. So for example, here are comments on your posts, comments that mention you, and private comments on work. Students can make private comments on things. I definitely like receiving emails on those, so I know they're coming through. Now, classes I'm enrolled in. These are things that I'm enrolled as a student. I don't usually get emails on that because a lot of times the reason I'm enrolled, and the same with classes I teach, the reason I'm enrolled in these classes is because for helping teachers out, right? So there's all those. Now here's the other thing that's a really great feature. When you get to the bottom, it says class notification. Click on the arrow pointing down. And if you scroll down, you'll see all these classes. Now, I don't need to get emails from this class at all, right? I'm in there to help out the sub. So I can turn those off, but I want to get emails from the different building pages. So I have those on. The Onward Book Club I want to get emails from, but there are other classes that I just don't need to have emails from. So you can turn that whole feature off. So that is the main page. Anyone have any questions right now before I move into the classroom itself? If you have questions, feel free to put up in the chat. And I know I said throw it up, don't throw up. Put your questions in chat. And then from there, I'll hear it go through, and then I can answer them as we go. So let's get into the classroom. So here I am in Google Classroom. The main things you need to know about that are you have your different tabs up here. You have your Stream tab, your Classwork tab, your People tab, and your Grades tab. This is your settings for just this classroom. Here's my waffle. This is what I like to call my banner. You have your do work, and then underneath is your stream, correct? It always opens to the Stream tab. So let's talk about that. The stream. The stream is a place where you post announcements. You can post to one student. You'll see here I posted just to Mira. And only she can see that comment. To do that, you click here. I can choose multiple classes. So if I want to send something to multiple classes, I can do that. Or within this class, I can choose just one student. So I unclick all students and I click the student I want. Now, I could click multiple. So if you have small groups of students you want to send a message to, you can do it that way. You can hit post right here. You can schedule the posts. If you have certain posts you know are going to drop at certain times, you can hit schedule and they will drop automatically. You don't have to like go in at 8 o'clock every morning and post something. If you have something made for every day of the week, you can easily schedule it and it'll drop for you. You can add things to your announcement, including things from Google Drive, links, files from your computer or from YouTube. You do not post assignments or work on the stream page. All right, so I'm going to post that. And you'll see it only went to one student. So I just posted that to Lucian. Hello. So let me now go into Mira's and I'll show you what it looks like on her end. So this is Mira's Google Classroom. You'll see nothing came up on her stream. She did not get any link. Am I in the right one for her? Yes. But she could not see the thing that I posted for Lucian, just to show you. All right. So classwork. This is where you're going to post the meat of your stuff. This is where you're going to post assignments, material. You're going to have topics to organize it, all that stuff. Now, you can, if you just use the default settings, everything you post on classwork also posts on the stream. Now, I've had people ask, can I just get rid of the stream page? Like, I don't want it. You cannot, unfortunately, but there is a setting that you can turn off classwork from cross-posting. So classwork stays on the classwork page, stream stays strictly for announcements. And that is definitely something I would suggest, not only from the teacher point of view to keep you organized, but from the student point of view, because it's so messy when things start popping into your stream, you can't follow it. So to do that, I'm going to go into settings. And settings is going to be available when you're in any tab. And right here, where it says classwork on the stream, you're going to have the notification that says show condensed notifications. I would suggest clicking on hide notifications and then make sure you hit save. So that's the difference between stream and classwork and how to keep them separate. Next is the people tab. And really quick, within people, here's where you can add co-teachers. You can add students right here. You can remove students by clicking on them. Hit actions. You can remove them. You can email your students through this. You can also email your guardians. If your guardians haven't received an email through Google Classroom to set it up, or maybe they did, but you see them as on there, what you can do is click these three dots. You can remove the guardian and then re-invite them, and that will prompt a new email to go out to them, so they get a new email and they can change their settings. Now down here, you can see that I invited test student. It's only invited. That student has yet to go on their main Google Classroom page and hit join. You have to hit join to become a member or a student in a class. The kids do not get put automatically in the classes, but all they have to do is when they go to their main class page, they will see this, but there will be like a blue dot here that says join, and it'll be the first one. It doesn't go to the end. So it's pretty easy to explain to them. You'll see the tile, you'll see my name or my icon. Click the blue join button. All right. And finally, in grades, this is the kind of the Google Classroom grade book, which I didn't spend a lot of time on before because we never really used it. But now more and more people are starting to use it to keep track of what their kids are doing. So this is just where you would access the grades. All right, so that's the difference between the 4 tabs. Any questions over here on this side? No? Okay. So let's go into, oops, I'm in Mira there, sorry. Let's go into the settings. Let's talk about the settings. So in settings, the first section is class details. This is the class name, which you can change at any time. You can give it a description. You can give it a section. You can give it a room. You don't have to give any of those things. The only thing that is required is the class name. You see, my room was the closet because that's where I was when we were over in the old band building. Now, this part, the general settings, these are very important. This is where you can generate your class code. And most times when you have a class code, it's on display. Now, one of the problems we've been coming across, you'll see here, it's not showing right here, but one of the problems we've been having come across is that parents are seeing the class code and they are joining the classroom themselves. So once your kids are in, if all your kids are in, what I would suggest is hitting disable and getting out and not having class code. If all of your students are in the class already or you've invited them, then I wouldn't worry about having the class code. So once that's disabled, parents can no longer join or kids can no longer join. You can invite them. The next thing I want to talk about is stream. The stream is that first tab, and you have a choice to allow students the ability to post and comment. Students can only comment, or teachers can post and comment. So basically what that means is students can post and comment, but kids can post whatever they want. If they created a Google slideshow they want to share, they can post it right on the stream. If they found a link that they think is funny and they want to share with their friends, they can post it on the stream. Now, I know some teachers are allowing that now because it gives the kids an opportunity to share things with their classmates. And that's great, as long as they're being monitored and the kids are following, good digital citizenship rules. Now, the other thing that might be fun to do if you're just starting out is students can only comment. So maybe you can post something and say, what do you think? And then underneath, the kids can post their comments. Again, you need to monitor just to make sure they're being appropriate, because you can always delete a comment if it's not appropriate. And finally, the one that I used to recommend to people was only teachers can post and comment, and that does not allow the students to post or comment on anything that's on there. But again, things have changed, and if you want to give your kids an outlet, a way to discuss between you and the other kids right on Google Classroom, you can definitely leave it as kids can post and comment or students can only comment. We went over classwork on the stream. Again, I would recommend you hiding notifications, but that's up to you. Showing deleted items. If you want to show that, only you or your other co-teachers will be able to see that. You would click it to the right. Guardian summaries. So what this means is that depending on how often the parents signed up for, weekly or daily, parents will get an email that looks just like this. So for this class, you can see it's every class their student is enrolled in. The parents cannot see anything that's attached. They can only see the title, they can see the description, and they can see if it's missing or handed in, and that's it. Now, I turned it off for this class because the only two students in this class are my kids, and every time I have one of these trainings and I'm posting things, I end up getting an email with 500 things on it. I do like getting the emails from their actual classes, from Mira's like second grade class, because then it goes through and shows me what she's done for the day and if we've missed anything. So that's, again, up to you. Now, this is new. This is Google Meet. It is through Google Classroom. This is how we are suggesting you guys to use Google Meet. Even if you don't have students enrolled in your class, this Meet link will still work. So if you create a Google Classroom and you don't have any kids in it or whatever, this is the link that you should be sharing with them via email, via Remind, via Dojo, however you're reaching out to kids now. If you're not using Google Classroom, especially the younger levels, you can still create a classroom and turn on this link. So you can see here, I have different options. I can copy it, I can reset it or change it, and I can make it visible or not to students. Now, you can leave it visible all the time. The cool thing about these links are that, you can see it's right here, visible for Mira. Students cannot join the Meet if you are not present. So this is the only way to have a Google Meet where kids cannot rejoin afterwards. And it doesn't matter that I could click on this right now and try and join as Mira. It's going to automatically log in as me though. So but oh no, it didn't. So here you go. Mira cannot join because I am not in that Google Meet. Now, when the kids log off, you need to be the last one to log off and give about 2 minutes. And then after that, it kicks everyone out, even if they try and rejoin. So that's a new feature Google just dropped this week. The tech department is working on switching things over to using this instead of the calendar, and there'll be more about that next week. I heard a question pop through. I'm going to go over and see. Oh, this is a good question. So Randy wants to know, is there a way to invite parents and connect Google Classroom to School Tool to get these emails, or do I have to type each parent address in? Any suggestions? 2 years ago, what happened is the tech department pushed the Google Classroom out to all parents. Unfortunately, the kids at the younger levels, that didn't happen. So it's a really good question. You would have to invite the parents. The thing is with that, once you invite them for one class, they're invited across the board on Google Classroom. So Randy, instead of you doing it for your 300 students at the intermediate school, it might be more helpful for each classroom teacher to invite the students via Google Classroom. And then once they accept that, it'll automatically be updated on your page as well. Randy has a question. I have students submitting work without doing it, so their parents don't get a notification that they did do the work. Any way to block this or need to let parents know? Well, there is no way to block it, unfortunately. You can return it to them, but the parents will not get they won't get an email saying it was returned or anything like that. So unfortunately, no, but that's a good question for sure. All right, finally, here's your grade calculation. And at this point, I'm not really going to go too far into it because we don't use a lot of the grading tools. We just keep it more as a log of our grades. But if you wanted to go into that, we can do that another time. Now, here's the kicker. When you're done, you have to hit save. If you don't hit save, it's not going to save any of those things. So that was the settings. Let's see. I'm going down my list here. All right, so I think I've explained the stream pretty well. There's other little things you can do. You can select a theme. You can change your theme and make it look like a pretty, different color. Or you can, let's see. Oh, cake. That's Mira's favorite. I'll do that. She'll love it. So you can change your theme that way. You can upload a photo. If you have a photo of like your dog or something that you would rather have up there. For example, when I used to co-teach 10th grade English, we had 6 different classrooms. Yep, there's just all different things here. I had 6 different classrooms, and what we did was we had all the kids line up in a long line because you can see the photo is very long. So if you have just a regular photo, it's going to be stretched. It's only going to be a little line of it. We had all the kids line up across the room, and we took their picture, and that was the banner for each classroom. So you could look at it and see who the kids were right in that classroom. That was kind of a fun thing. It gave the kids some ownership too. All right, so next, let's talk about classwork page. Now, this is my classwork page. You'll see here, I have my Meet, Google Calendar, and my Class Drive folder. This takes me directly to the Google Calendar for this Google Classroom. It shows me anything that's due, upcoming. This is the folder and drive that stores all of the templates and all the student work. Just to show you what it looks like on Mira's end. Mira also has Meet, Google Calendar, and Class Drive folder, but she also here, instead of going to everyone's Class Drive folder, I can click on View Your Work, and you can see immediately from just this class what she has done, what she hasn't, right here. She has a 100, this is a sign, this is missing. So this tells me her work just from this class. And this is what we've been doing for her for 2nd grade. I showed that to my husband, and he loves it because now it gives us a perfect step-by-step of what she has to do. So that's there for the kids. All right. So the first thing is organization, right? You can see I have some things kind of floating at the top here. I've got some topics over here. I really would suggest you using topics to create some organization, because what I can do is I can tell the kids, hey, go into materials, and click on materials, and tell them exactly what to look for. Now, look for that Google Classroom with parents. There it is, right? So I can easily find it. Going back to all topics. These 2 up here are floating because I forgot to put them in a topic. So if you create something and you forget to put it in a topic, all you need to do is click on the 3 dots, hit edit, and then over to the right, you'll see topic. I'm just going to throw this into training, hit save, And now, when I go into training, it'll be right there, right at the top, because that's where I put it. Now, if I don't want it at the top, you can always click on the 3 buttons. Oops. Nope. Ah, sorry, I got a little click happy there. All right, here I am. Let's say I still want hand in your slideshow here. I want that to be right at the top. So I can click it. Oh, sorry, click happy again. I can grab it and drag it up to the top. Maybe it's not going to let me right now because my internet is not being happy with me. But you can move things around within the classwork. All right, I'm going to go back to all topics. You cannot have a topic at the very top if there's something that's not within a topic. Does that make sense? So in other words, this one right here, I forgot to put this under a topic. So I am going to move it. I'm just going to throw it into this one. Save. So now that I move that out of the way, now you can see today is at the top. And I always want that today to be at the top. But let's say I wanted this date to be above. I can grab it and drag it. There it goes. It's letting me do it now. So now that date's above. If I want materials to be up, I can grab and drag. I'm going to bring this all the way to the top. Let's see if it lets me. It didn't let me. You can see I can just click move up and now I'll post it right at the top. There we go. So you can move the topics around. Obviously, I would have something like today to be at the top, but there you go. I would keep things named consistently to keep them organized. So for example, all of my Edpuzzles, I start the word Edpuzzle, right? Within the classroom that I do for the high school and the intermediate and the junior high and the elementary, you'll see that everything I share that's the virtual, these PDs I'm doing, I say video recording, like I start it the same way. So keeping things organized that way is really important, especially from the kids' point of view, because it does post on here when it's due. Let's see if I can move it now. Yes, okay, see, I can move it. There, so if I want this one at the top, I can, all right? So Monday, watch this video, and then Tuesday will be another Wednesday. Put that one up here. Then I have it in order for the date. All right, how are we doing over on your end? You guys okay? Let's see if I have any questions. Is there a way for us to see what kids see like you are doing? Is there a way to organize streams under a topic? And is there a way to organize both streams and assignments and materials in the same area? Okay, first of all, unfortunately, there is no way to organize stream. Like I said, that's why I keep the stream separate. Stream is just announcements. Hey guys, don't forget to do your work this week. Boom, that's it. It's kind of like one of those Facebook streams. So once it posts, it keeps getting posted down. The other question Randy had is there any way for us to see what the kids see, like you are doing? Unfortunately, not really. I logged in as my kids, see? So I have my child who is logged in, and so I'm able to use her. I've recommended to teachers, if you have a student in your class who you know the parent and you think that the parent will be okay with it, you say, hey, do you mind if I log in as Jimmy so I can log in, so I can look at Google Classroom and see how it's set up? That would work as well. But I would get parent permission first. I know I've given my kids' teachers permission to log in as my children once or twice just to be able to go in and make sure things look the way they want it to. So really, that's the only way. The only other way I can think of is for you to invite another adult as a student, because we can also be added as students. If you're teaching the class, you cannot be added as a student. So if you had another a teacher that you said, hey, I'm going to add you as a student, can you tell me how this looks? You could do that. Then they would be able to go in and say, hey, this is what I see on my end. So unfortunately, Randy, those are the only options I can think of. Hopefully that answered your question. All right, Jonathan Kirkland, do students see only events for their classroom on the calendar? Well, let's go through and look at Mira's. The kids won't see anything on the calendar unless it's been added to this calendar. So you can see right now, the only thing she can see, let's see, we'll go by the week, make it a little easier to look. I can see on here that she has an assignment due, lesson 3. This is what Mira has on hers, all right? So this was her Google Meet yesterday. She did with her class. Here are her assignments. The purple is her 2nd grade, so you can see her teachers posted things for her to do each week. And that's it. She can't see anything else. This is something that she created for me. And the blue is Google Classroom. So these are things that I created just practicing. Her teachers are not giving her assignments due on Saturday or at midnight, I promise. But let's see if we go back. Yep. The only things that we have are things that are attached to her. Not like she can't see my stuff. She can't see Mrs. Kostick's stuff. Only that. Now, that being said, I did have a teacher at the high school who was adding personal events to his Google Calendar, like doctor's appointments and such. When you do that, please make sure you have not, like the drop down says your personal calendar. And it usually defaults as that on your phone or whatever, but this teacher had it defaulted as all of his classes. So all of his classes and all of his students were able to see when his kids had doctor's appointments and when he had doctor's appointments. And it was a little embarrassing and he was a little annoyed, but we figured it out and now it's all set. So I hope that answers your question, Jonathan. Make sure I didn't have any others over there. All right, you can also create your own Google account and Gmail and invite yourself to the class. I don't think that works because you have to have a Homer Pride account. That's the only thing. Because we had trouble getting some of our OCM BOCES kids into, they were joining, I think it was like ukulele club. And we could, even though they went to, what's the school? The New Tech school. And because they didn't have an at Homer Pride account, we couldn't get them in. It was a little frustrating. Unless they changed that, they might have. You could always try it. All right, so let's see. Let's talk about posting, all right? So let's say I want to post an assignment. So I'm going to hit create. We'll start right here. Now, assignment and quiz assignment. They're basically the same. They give you a due date, right? It's something that's due at a certain time. You can leave it without a due date if you wanted. The only thing with a quiz assignment is that it gives you a blank Google form when you first log in. If you already have a Google form created, then you would just do assignment. All right, so I'm going to click on assignment. Here we go. You can see the title and the instructions, right? Under instructions. Oh, let's see. I'll name it Social Studies Part 2. All right, so I have my instructions. Over here, I can choose to do it for an entire, just one class. I can choose multiple classes. Here's a really nice feature. If you have students working on group projects and you want them to be able to work on these, what you would do is you would click on, did I mute myself? No, okay. I just want to make sure I didn't mute myself. Okay. You could click here and you could choose the students that it'll go to. So you can break your kids up into small groups to work on an assignment. You can give it the number of points. You can change this if you want it, doing everything out of 3 these days. So there you go. Give it a due date. This is what's going to appear on their Google Calendar. You can also do a time. If you don't pick a time, it automatically defaults to 11:59 p.m. And I would suggest putting it under a topic. Rubric. This is something I haven't looked too much into. I was starting to before everything got chaotic. You can create rubrics on Google Classroom. If you want to play with that, go for it. Originality reports. If you are a social studies or ELA teacher at the upper levels, and actually any level, I think 3rd and up, if you're having the kids do any writing, you can click that. And what it does is it allows the students to compare their work, and Google will compare it to other places online. And they'll teach them if they have anything that's plagiarized. So if they have things that are plagiarized, this will show them, hey, you can't use this because we found this here, or we found this other thing. It searches all these different reports. It's kind of a cool feature if you're doing writing for older kids. All right, back over to the assignment. Now, this is one I get all the time. People are like, how do I make a copy of something? So I'm going to add via Google Drive. All right, I do have some materials that I created just for trainings, just to play with this stuff. You just have to go into the rabbit hole that is my Google Drive. All right. Materials for trainings. So, for example, let's start with a Google Doc, right? If I have my weekly reading journal, I'm going to hit add. You'll see here, it gives me an option, students can view file. What that means is kids can open it up and they can see it. They can't edit it. They could go to file, make a copy, and then they can edit it, right? But there are other options. You can make a copy for each student. And what that does, is really great, what that does, it automatically forces a copy of my original. The kids cannot write on my original, but it also names it with their first and last name and then the name of the document that I already have. So this is called One Weekly Reading Journal. Make a copy for each student. It'll be named for my kids, Mira Collins, One Weekly Reading Journal. Lucian Collins, One Weekly Reading Journal. I'll change it just so. There we go. Now, the third option, and this works well when you're doing small group work, students can edit file. So if you have something that you want the kids to work on collaboratively, like I said up here, doing a small group, you can have them edit the file, each of them, and then you don't have to worry about them sharing it or anything like that. It's already going to be shared. It's going to be whatever your original is. Just make sure you make a copy for each group, and they're separate copies. So if I hit assign, it'll automatically go to the kids. Remember, you can always schedule it. You can save it as a draft, and then it just saves if you're not done doing it. But I'm going to assign it just so we can see what it looks like on the other end. You can also attach other things. So let's say I wanted to do a YouTube video and that document. I could say, hey, watch this video and then complete your weekly reading journal. So I go into Mira's. What did I post it in there? See, now I got to remember. Oh, I think I posted under training. The last one I choose, of course. Nope, guess that. Fail. There it is. So this one is assigned. So when she clicks on it, I can see it automatically made a copy for her, and she can write right on it. When she's done, all she has to do is hit turn in. You can also, this is going to open it as her. Yep. So you can see I'm logged in as her right now. All right. I'm just putting something on there really quick, and then I'm going to exit out. I just want to show you what it looks like from the teacher's view once the kids start filling it out. So she's writing that in. Exit out. There it is. So now from Google Classroom, oh wait. Click on View Assignment, and I can see the student work. You can see a preview of it. So I can see that she has started kind of filling it out. And I can go in and I can see her work. So I can now, on my end, leave private comments. So even though she hasn't handed it in yet, I can still leave private comments. Hey, don't forget to write your title of your book in italics. You forgot to leave a summary of what you wrote, etc. There we go. I can see what she's doing, even though she hasn't handed it in. So this is a great way for you to monitor what they're doing and leave them comments as it's going along, right? All right, I heard a question come in, 2 questions. Once you post the assignment, can you go back and edit it and change whether students can view only? That's a great question, Jonathan. So Jonathan asked, once we post something, let me get rid of this because it's sucking up my bandwidth. Once I post something, can I change what the kids can do with it? The answer to that is unfortunately no. Once it's posted, you'll see here, I'll go to edit, right? It's posted. I know Mira's already gone in there. She's looked at it, whatever. Once it posts, I can't change that to students anything. It's going to stay whatever it is because it doesn't want the kids to, or it won't take away. So if you wanted to change the settings, you would have to completely delete that assignment and start over. That's a kicker. Another one is, wait, hold on. If I accidentally post a stream or assignment before I want the kids to see it, how can I undo it? Or do I have to delete the stream assignment and do it again? On the stream, Randy, you have to undo it. You have to delete it. On the classwork, I think there is a way. If I go into edit, no, there's not. So once you post it, the only thing you can do is edit what's already there, unfortunately. You would have to completely delete it and then go back in and change it. If you're posting something and you're not sure you want it to drop yet, you can always hit that save draft button, and that's what you could do. And it'll show up at the top. It'll show up at the top. Right here. Save draft. Now, if I just save it as a draft and I don't post it, you'll see it ends up right at the top here. Now, this one, I can go in and I can edit things. And that does take me to the next thing I want to talk about is posting quizzes, quiz assignments. I know that's one that people have been asking a lot about because posting quizzes is really nice to automatically grade for you if you use the multiple choice. And if you want to learn more about that, you should definitely check out the webinar I did on Google Forms. But let's say I want the kids to complete a quiz. So all I have to do is go into my Google Drive. I created a form already, and this form is already set as a quiz. You can see things are starting to slow down. I'm going to log out of Mira just to see if I can move it along a little faster here. Come on. I know you want to work. Let's see. Try again. Oh, I moved it to under today, so there's my draft. Let's see. I want to edit it. All right, now it's working. All right, I created a quiz on mountains. Let's see if I can just do it this way. It goes a little quicker. There we go, quiz on mountains. Now, within my Google form, when I made it, I made sure that I set it as a quiz. And I knew that I did that because if you look right here, it gives me the option for grade importing, which means when the kids are done, it's automatically going to grade it and put it in my Google Classroom gradebook. The other option you have is locked mode on Chromebooks. And what that means is when the kids are taking the quiz, they cannot open any other tabs or any other things on their Chromebook while they're taking the quiz. If they exit out, it they just can't. They can exit out of the quiz, but then it's going to give them a 0 as a grade. So that one, that's up to you. I know some people like it, but we used it more in school. I don't know how it would work outside of school, especially if they're not on their Chromebooks or if they're taking it on a phone or something. All right, I'm going to give this a due date because why not? I'm going to make it 6 points. Oops, not 1,006, just 6. Now, the quiz that I gave, see, it's automatically doing this. The quiz, I think, is out of 20 points. So if I post it as 6 points, once the quiz goes through, once I assign it, it's going to automatically update that point system because the quiz itself is out of 20 points. So when I go in, and once the kids take it, you would see that. Now, let me see if I can find one they've already done. Maybe I don't have them. All right, I have this Wednesday quiz assignment. Let's see if they turn it in. No, I guess they didn't do that. So once they do it, though, what you would have to do is you would just have to hit, there'd be a button that says import grades. Sorry. it'll say import grades, and all you would have to do is click that, it automatically grades it. Right here, this button here. You would click import grades, and it'll automatically update the grades over here. All right, so I hope that helps with the quizzes. Let's see. I'm going through my checklist to keep me on task here. All right, posting a question. That's another one that's kind of cool. Let's say you have it so the kids can't comment on other things, but you want to post a question where they can comment on this one thing. You can post a question. It can be short answer or multiple choice. If you do short answer, even if kids can't post on your stream or on your other stuff, you can give the kids access to reply to each other just on this. So that's kind of nice if you want to have a discussion. If you want to do a multiple choice question, it'll give you, and you want to allow students to see the class summary, when you're done, it'll give you a nice chart. So that's a great way to do like an exit ticket or something like, hey, what did you do today? And give them multiple choice questions. Did you go outside today? Yes or no? And you can see how many kids did it. How's it going? Now, again, I only have 2 kids in my class, but you can see I gave them options great, good, wonderful, and meh. And they picked great and wonderful. So we must be doing something right at home, right? So that's kind of a cool way to quickly, let's see what they put for this. What is Lancey's favorite hobby? Gardening, quilting, painting, mountain biking, or hiking? They chose hiking, both of my kids. So there you go. I could go through and just see what they chose, all right? So that's what creating a question is. Material, if you're posting something that doesn't need a due date, you're just posting it to share. You're going to post it as a material. Again, you can post as many things as you want. Let me show you a great example of posting materials on my innovation classroom. So this is a group of teachers that worked with me last summer at the innovation cohort, and now we meet every 2 months, and we kind of go over different topics. So what I do is, because I can't organize under topics, you have your topic, and then underneath you just post a file, but I wanted to kind of keep it by month. So what I did was I created a material for each time we met. So these are all the different things that I did with them, including my playlist, my slideshow that I presented, the different things that we did. I shared all that stuff in one post. And when I do that, I can't create a copy for each of them. This is not an assignment, it's a material. But you can post, like I said before, more than one thing in a post, which is really nice. Again, looking at it from the kids' point of view, sometimes it's really hard to navigate these Google Classrooms when they're not organized by topic, they're not organized with the consistent labeling. So you definitely want to do that for your kids. And the next one, reuse posts. Now this is something I had mentioned before when I talked about the archived classes. Let's see if it lets me load, because sometimes it takes a little while because I have so many classrooms. What you can do is if you taught a class last year and you have archived it, so now the students don't see it, and you want to reuse a post from that year, all you have to do is, once this loads, maybe, you click on the class you want to use. That will take you to then the posts that are there. This is giving me trouble. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to pick the class, then you can go through and pick the post you want to read. Oh, awesome, it worked. So here, you can see, these classes are archived, right? These are the people who were the teachers of it. Let's see if I can find. Here's my math class from, this was last year. So let's say I want to go through and I want to post the Unit 1 notes for this year. I'm going to be starting over. Click this, and I would hit create new copies of all attachments. So anything that's on there is going to create a new copy of it. And I'm going to click reuse. And that will automatically, even though this class is archived, it will make a new copy for the students this year and bring me to this page where now I have the option to change up what they see. Let's see, I can change it for different students. Remember, this is a material, not an assignment. So I can't make a copy for each student here. And then I can post it. I'm not going to because I'm just going to discard. But you can change the different things, the topics and all that. There it goes. So that is reuse post. And finally, topic. Let's say you want to get a bunch of topics made before you start posting, just so you have them down and so you already know they're there. You can go here and create a topic. Best stuff ever. I can't wait. Now, it's automatically going to go to the top, right? But look what it says here. Students can only see topics with published posts. So even though I can see that and I can create things and put it under there eventually, the kids won't see that until I start putting things under it, just so you know. Which again, that's to help the kids keep it organized, which is nice. All right, finally, let's look at one last thing. I get people asking out. So I posted this assignment. This was Edpuzzle. Oh, that one they both did. All right, so they both did this one. Oops, sorry. So I can go into these assignments. I'm trying to find one's the Google Doc. Here we go. Perfect. So I assigned this to one student, Lucian. He didn't do it, slacker. You can see up here, I have instructions and student work. If I click on Lucian's, sorry, this isn't a good example. I'm trying to find one where I can show you how you can flip in between all the work. Apparently I have too many things on here. That's material. And I can see like this icon means it's an assignment. This icon means it's a material. The question mark means it's a question. So as I'm going through, I can see what each one is. From the kids' point of view, when it's brightly colored, that means that they haven't done it yet. So like for Mira, hers would be green if she hasn't finished it. Once she's handed in or turned it in, it's turned gray, the icon, but the icons look the same. All right, so I'm in student work. I clicked on student work, and I'm going to click on Lucian. Now, from here, I can leave him private comments on his work, what he's doing, and it will pop up on his. Of course, I leave them these comments, and then they get all freaked out because they think I'm being serious about it. I can post it, and now only Lucian would get that post. Instead of having to go back here and click on Mira and open a new tab, all I need to do is just click this right button, and it will take me to the next student, which is Mira. Just moving a little slow right now. If you have a lot of kids in your classroom, I'm thinking like PE, or if you're doing by grade level or something like that, you can click this button here, and you can sort it by status, which means it'll put all the kids who have it handed in at the top, and then the kids who haven't handed in or it's missing at the bottom. So that makes it a lot easier for you to go through and use private comments. All right. The other thing is, it's a really nice feature that I found, is this little guy right here. This is the comment bank. Now, I created these comments myself, add to bank, because these are the things that we are supposed to be using, right? So to make it easier, I created these comments just by clicking add to bank. They carry over to any class I teach. So across the board, I can go into my innovative teacher and I would have those same comments available. So let's say I wanted to give him a 0 for not complete. I would go here, click on the 3 dots. I can copy it, edit it, or delete that comment. I'm going to copy it very slowly. I'm going to go back to my comments. And then you can either 2-finger tap, bring up the paste, or I like to use Control V because that pastes it. And then I can post it. All right, so that's the private comments. Now, back over on this side. Let's see if I refresh it. When I refresh it, you'll see over on the left under their names, you can kind of see a preview of what the private comments are. So that gives teachers access to just seeing if there are private comments under there. All right, while that's loading, just to show you back, that is the last thing I have on the Google Classroom. Let's see if I can get this to work. There's Jonathan. There's everybody. Oh. So if anyone has any questions, I'm not really sure why my is not working. All right, here it goes. Does anyone have any questions at this point? I know I said I didn't want to take the whole hour, but I ended up taking the whole hour. So if you have any questions, let's see. All right, I am going to stop recording, maybe, if I can. Stop recording. All right.